snow peas. Okay, that's what it looks like. I have julienne carrots, chopped onions, just half of a medium onion will do. These are green onions, also cut into diagonally, and some garlic. And yes, this is also organic chicken breast. I have 2 pieces which I've cut up into smaller pieces. Now you can buy this already ground up, but I prefer to cut up my own meat to make sure that I know how fresh it is. And so that's some of the ingredients, and the rest of the ingredients we'll be using some grapeseed oil in order to saute those ingredients. We are also going to use some tamari or soy sauce, and don't be alarmed. You can now find non-GMO, and it's also reduced sodium non-GMO tamari, or it's another form of soy sauce. Okay, so we're also going to be using sesame oil, and of course salt and pepper according to your taste. Okay, so we are going to continue with the cooking process. Okay, here is our garlic. Saute your garlic very well, you know, to almost where it's turning golden brown. Onion. We're going to put a little bit of cracked pepper to season it. A little bit of salt, about half a teaspoon to season the chicken. Going to cover this. So we're going to season this with some tamari. I got it on number 8, medium high, and I'm adding my julienne carrots. That's gonna take a little longer to cook. The consistency of the carrots right now is al dente, and so now I am going to add my julienne snow peas and give it a little time to steam. And here's a good sign and indication that you're about ready to add your next ingredients or your next vegetable. See all that steam? That means to say the snow peas, which I just added here, are now slightly tender, and I'm going to start adding my Chinese cabbages. Now I know that when you plant Chinese cabbage, because I have experienced it last year, I had so much. I did everything I can do with it. Made soup, stir fry, kimchi and I still had so much Napa or Chinese cabbages. So now that I have my juices, actually I have almost half a cup of liquid in this pot. I put it back on high. Okay, it's just a matter of observing how your ingredients are, I guess, behaving inside the pot as you cook it. You don't want to allow this to cook until it's soggy. It's the worst thing to ever do to your egg roll is fill it with soggy ingredients. I like to have my texture still kind of crisp, you know, to kind of keep the integrity of your vegetable by not overcooking it. So I put this on high so that I could cook it a little faster now because I don't want to overcook my vegetables. And I'm putting it on high. Do not put the lid back on it because it will prevent the moisture from evaporating, and you do not want that to happen. Okay, so let's test this. Wow, it's good already. Okay, at this point it's still crisp. I wish you could smell it. You stir this and I promise you, you will wow your guests, your family, your someone special. Okay, but so my vegetables here, as you can see, it looks like it's limp, but pardon me, but I just wanna demonstrate. You probably heard that. It's still crisp. I hope you did. So I'm going to take this out, or take it off of the heat. Just move it aside. Drain that excess liquid and don't throw away the liquid that you saved from this. It can be a good broth, or even you could even thicken it and create some kind of some kind of gravy for another dish. Okay, the liquid is really full of flavor, but since you're going to make egg roll out of all of these veggies, this mix, you want to make sure that you drain it well. Well, in my haste to get started with the cooking process, I have overlooked one of the ingredients. I mean, I did name it, but I forgot to describe and give a sample of what it looks like before it's been cut up or chopped. This is Napa cabbage, or Chinese cabbage. You could find this in most supermarket now, usually next to bok choy. So this is Chinese or Napa cabbage, but very easy to fry apart. As you can see, it's quite pliable and durable enough so that it won't tear when you pull it apart. I like to start pulling it apart in big clumps before I start doing it one at a time. Okay, it's not very hard to deal with this type of wrapper. See, it's quite easy. Just pull it apart. Do be a little careful though. You don't want to lose any one of this wrapper, but it's quite easy to separate them. They're durable. Now the other type, which is the wheat flour dough, this is actually fully cooked. So That is, I'm going to show you the difference between these two as far as cooking. Okay, I could describe it right now. After I fill this with the egg roll mixture, the filling, I could just brush this with a little bit of olive oil or whatever oil you like, and stick it in the oven, high heat, probably about 400 to 450 degree, so that it could brown it. You brown it as quickly as you can, and it'll give that nice texture. And remember, the filling is fully cooked, whereas this type of wrapper is dough. It's made out of wheat and a lot easier to separate, but a little more delicate as far as handling it. It could tear a lot easier than this, than the rice flour. So a little careful with this, very gingerly. When you start wrapping your filling in it, you might want to handle this a little more careful. So that's our wrapper. I gave you two types of wrapper you could use, and both will give you that very good, crisp, delicious result. So we have this much of filling right about this corner of the wrapper. You dip your hand in this bowl of water, wet it, and then wet the edges, two edges of the wrapper. Now you fold it over, there it is, fold it over the filling and give it another roll. Okay, now kind of press the side so that you could create a little seal on this side of the egg rolls right there. Then fold it again that way, one side, and fold this side over, and it looks like you got yourself an envelope. So again, you're going to roll it. I'm not really, okay, just roll it gently, and there is your egg roll. Okay, now if you're not going to fry this right away, I will suggest that you do this. Let me wet that a little more. I'm actually not going to cook this right now. I will be cooking this later on tonight for my husband's dinner. So what I'm going to do is, this is a regular flour. I'm going to dip that in there, roll it around the flour, kind of coat it nicely, and place it in a tray or a plate, any container, with parchment paper. I have non-stick parchment paper here. Let me show you. Okay, right here. This is a non-stick parchment paper which I lined the tray with, and that's to prevent the egg roll, if you were to get a little saturated or any moisture soaked through, it will not get pasty and stick to your tray. So for these egg rolls, I made a dipping sauce which is made out of mustard and honey. Now the honey to mustard ratio is according to your taste. Depends on how tart you want it and how sweet you would like your honey mustard sauce. Okay, so that's what I have here as a sauce. You can also make a soy sauce based dipping sauce, but since this is a chicken egg rolls, my husband prefer honey mustard dipping sauce for it.